Alright. Alright, another midnight session. Session coming back to life on guitar. What better time to come back to life on guitar than, like 2 o'clock in the morning, man. It's musician hours. See, there's one of your problems right there. You all jam at like 2 in the afternoon. That's fine, if you got time to jam 2 in the afternoon. But you need to start jamming at like 2 o'clock in the morning. You got a blues gig. What, you think you're going to get off at 3:30 p.m.? Come on. You got to work up the old, stay up all night, get the smoke going, the cigars. George Thorogood said it. Speaking of George Thorogood, he probably did most of his stuff in the key of A. We're going to talk about the key of E. That's E major. We're going to talk about the key of E minor. Take that dude off. And we're going to run the E minor pentatonic using open strings. And we're going to run it for 2 octaves, okay, starting at the top. Now, let's come back to life on guitar, session 16, I think, maybe, something like that. Anyway, still introducing pentatonics and their how I use them, I guess you could say. So here we go, 2 octaves, E minor. And it might be a little slow because it's been a long time since I played. But it's an easy pattern to remember. Okay, it's an easy pattern to remember. You'll see it here in a minute. Now that's 1 octave, and then take off from here. That's 2 octaves, so I'll start again without talking. Now, have you noticed, here's one rule of thumb you can go by. Okay, let me descend so I can show you that maybe because sometimes it is practicing just going up. Going backwards is a little different. I kind of messed it up, so I'll do it again. So you see it's pretty easy. You just basically got to know that note, 3rd fret. Everything is like 2nd fret and open string. Oh, that's what I was going to point out. Anything that on this big E string, it mirrors, this is the little E string. So whatever is good up here, just remember it is good down there. Just something to think about. So, and it brings up another point, which I probably need diagrams and shit, but we need to learn the open strings here. And obviously, if you're, a seasoned guitar player, and you might, anyway. So, coming back to life, we got to discuss it all, okay? There's no need to leave nothing out, because it is important to remember the names of the open strings. And there's probably a saying they could probably come up with anyway. E, A, D, G, B, and E. Now, it's important to remember those, simply because once you remember those, once you remember your open strings, they're a reference the rest of the fretboard, because the natural notes, you know what I mean? Where are we at on the time? Okay, anyway, they're natural notes. So once you know like E, open E, then if you know the rule, you know like E and F, B and C are together, right? So on the frets like E, well then you automatically know F is right there. Open E, then that's automatically F, and that makes that G, and that makes that A, and then B, and B and C are together, right? C, D, and E. So you're running the whole octave up one string. I guess that was E minor pentatonic. Alright. I forget where I was going with that. Where would we going with that? Something about the ease of remembering. Oh yeah. Once you remember your open strings, then you can map out the rest of the string. Alright? Because remembering your natural notes, and that's which comes back to, I guess, really why one of the other lessons I talked about was learning everything out of A minor pentatonic. Because it is the sister to the C major, which has all the natural notes. If you're going to learn your fretboard, you need to learn the natural notes. Because other notes float around. You know, between here's G and here's A. Well, all depends what scale and what this, that, and the other thing. That can either be a G sharp or an A flat. You know what I mean? So, just learn your natural notes. Learn your open strings. And then you can build from there. Okay, so we'll go over that over the next lesson. Open strings, which are, okay, and I won't show the oh, here's something to go over. Let me see. Alright. How do you do your headstock when you run your strings? Alright, see, I run it up the middle and spread them out. I don't know, sometimes I'm kind of, seem like, I guess that's the way normal people do it. I was thinking maybe of a Fender or something like that. Anyway, I guess there's nothing to discuss there. I would say basically kind of like look by your keys for most parts. Yeah, for most, okay. Key-wise, this is E, A, D, G, B, and E. Well, that's one way to look at it, you know what I mean? E, A, D, G, B, E. Now, I can, like I said, coming back to Life on Guitar, the series, it's repetition, you know what I'm saying? I can already tell by just going over, goofing around, calling it different notes, and doing open strings, they already come to me quicker. And once that becomes quick, that's a quick reference to the rest of your fretboard. You know what I mean? It's like, hell, say you're playing a guitar, it has dots in different places or something like that. They got them weird. They're just in general. You know that basically, within the 3rd to the 5th fret, the distance of the open strings, you're working, well, I just showed you, like right here, up to the 3rd string, you're working with 2 octaves. Right there, 2 octaves of the E minor. And you might as well throw in this little G string, because the G, you know, it mirrors even though it's not part of the E minor, as far as running the, you know what I'm saying. And it's part of it, it's not the end of the scale. So let's just throw that in while we're doing it. And again, the E minor pentatonic, 2 octaves. Throwing that extra in. Well, 2 octaves, all right there. Alright, peace out. Next lesson coming up, because, hell, party night.